Are you looking for inspiration on a daily basis? Then check out Deal to Heal Teas. With our inspirational teas, you're sure to find something to inspire you. That's dealtohealteas.com. Put some inspiration in your situation. Wear inspirational tea and be inspired all day. Let's go to dealtohealteas.com. Again, that's dealtohealteas.com. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this podcast, then I know you enjoy the Girl Dad Discussion podcast. I'm your host, Ernest James, and I believe the relationship between a daughter and her father is one of the most important relationships a young lady can have. And therefore, my mission is to promote the daddy-daughter relationship by sharing the voices of girl dads to the world. So check out our podcast on every platform where podcasts can be listened to. And if you want to watch the podcast, check us out on our YouTube channel. Again, that's the Girl Dad Discussions podcast with your host, Ernest James. Welcome to Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. On this podcast, my guest and I will discuss topics and ways to help us to heal in every area of our lives. I believe that everyone can live a life that is happy, healthy, and whole. So I'm on a mission to help people to deal, heal, and fulfill. Deal with your problem, heal from the pain, and fulfill your purpose. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. I'm your host, Ernest James, and I believe that everyone can and should live a life that is whole, healed, and healthy. And therefore, my mission is to help people to deal, heal, and fulfill, to deal with your problems, to heal from the pain, and to fulfill your purpose. Thank you guys for tuning in once again to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to our new YouTube channel. We are now started, we have reformed our YouTube channel from just being our personal podcast to it's a podcasting channel and called the Deal to Heal Podcasting Network. And there you can find not only this podcast, but also our partner podcast, the Girl Dad Discussions podcast, as well as the Earn and Earth podcast, and our newest podcast, which is called Faith Walk and Love Talk, which is a Bible study podcast. That's all there on the podcast channel. And that is our new YouTube channel. Again, that's the Deal to Heal Podcasting Network YouTube channel. Make sure you guys go there and make sure you guys go there and check out our podcast. All right. So also, if you ever thought about starting your own podcast, make sure you guys go to ebooksbyejames.com. Again, that's ebooksbyejames.com, where you can pick up the ebook entitled Start Your Podcast Now in only 3 steps, and where you can learn how to start your own podcast in only 3 steps. Again, let's go to ebooksbyejames.com in order to get your copy, as well as the other ebooks that is also there. We have quite a few ebooks that is there that you also can pick from to check out. And also our product of the week. As you guys know, we are a self-sustained podcast, and the way that we stay on the air is by bringing you amazing products for you to purchase. That way we help to pay our bills. And so our product of the week is our Purpose Journal and our Purpose Planner, because I believe that we need to journal in order to be able to keep track of where we've been and where we are in our lives. And we have our planner because we have to plan for our future. So our products of the week, again, is our Purpose Journal as well as our Purpose Planner. Both of those can be found on Amazon, and the links are in the description. So make sure you guys go and check that out when you get a chance. All right. So today, just like any other day, we are blessed with the guest, Miss Thomas. Thank you so much for being here. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me on tonight. I'm excited about sharing my story.
All right, all right. So first of all, let me say thank you for being on. Thank you for coming on because you could have been doing anything else with anyone else. Yet you're here with me. I definitely appreciate it, and I'm sure my listeners will too as we get more into your story. And so let's jump right in and kind of start from the beginning. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do.
I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a day minister. I retired from teaching after I had my massive stroke. And if you notice, I'm laying down. And
Mhm.
I'm not laying down because this is my bedtime or anything, but I'm laying down because 3 years ago I had a massive stroke that rendered my right side immobile. So I come on these podcasts and do seminars and teach Bible study from my bed.
Okay, okay. So I wanna talk a little bit about that, even your experience with the stroke that you mentioned, because as we talked a little bit offline before we started recording, I personally haven't had a stroke. However, there are family members and loved ones that are close to me that have, and are still kind of dealing with the ramifications of that. And so, to the best of your knowledge, what are probably some of the things to look for, for someone to kind of pay attention to that they might even be headed, to maybe having a stroke, and maybe tell a little bit about your story on how you came up, to the point that you experienced one.
Okay. One of the main causes of strokes is high blood pressure. So as the people, we need to monitor blood pressure because we know that hypertension is called a silent killer. So you can have high blood pressure and not even realize it until it's too late. So you need to get your blood pressure regularly checked. And some people's stroke is caused by stroke, genetic. There's a lot of things that can cause a stroke. But the most important thing is that if you think you're having a stroke or someone else is having a stroke, to get them a medical attention immediately because time is of the essence. If you can
Mhm.
get to the hospital quick enough in a time frame, they can stop the major effects of a stroke. And because I knew about strokes because in my Head Start class, we had to take in-service training, but it's such a difference when you're having one than when you're reading about one. Because I
Mhm.
figured I wasn't feeling well, and I figured I'd just lay down and I would feel better. And when I laid down, I had a stroke. I couldn't move my right side, but still, I wasn't thinking that I was having a stroke. And so it took a while for me to go to the hospital. So I missed that window of when they could give you the shot to stop the stroke. So by the time I made it to the hospital, the doctors was saying that the diagnosis was very grim. They were giving me a 1% chance of living and a 99% chance of passing away. As a matter of fact, the nurse asked me if she could hold my hand while I transition, and they called my family and told them if they wanted to see me on this side that they had to hurry up and come to the hospital. But the one thing that I didn't know was that this stroke was not unto death,
Mhm.
because I have asthma, and when I have trouble breathing, I feel like somebody's sitting on my chest. But they're telling me that I'm breathing at less than 1%, and I didn't feel that heaviness on my chest. I felt like God was breathing the breath of life into me on his ventilator. So I've spent 2 years in a nursing home, sidebar. That if you know anybody in a nursing home, you have family members in a nursing home, make it your business to check on them because of many of the elderly are forgotten about. They're placed in these nursing homes, and you think everybody's going to be doing their job. But I was in a nursing home for 2 years, and I had my voice, and I had family that was concerned about me, and I still had some incidents that should not happen to a human. Um, Under those conditions at the nursing home. So what that made me do is, even though I'm out of the nursing home, I still advocate for people to call, go down there, because there are people that just go in for a check. They don't think that one day they're gonna have to get elderly. They don't think that if
Mhm.
their parents don't that are young, they're gonna have to get elderly, and they don't treat the old people like they need to be treated. But that's a sidebar. So I spent 2 years in a nursing home, and I've been home for a year. About 3 months ago, I started physical therapy again. And when I was released from the hospital, I couldn't move my leg at all. But now my leg is moving without assistance. My hand is still sort of crippled up, but it's moving more than it was moving in the beginning. So if you had a stroke or know someone that had a stroke, the journey might be slow at times. But when the doctors say no, don't give up on yourself, because the
Mhm.
human body has um amazing ability to heal, and it might not come today or tomorrow, but day by day, you can see little changes when the doctor gave up and said that there's no hope. So that's part of my stroke experience.
Yeah, yeah, and first of all, I want to say thank God for that you are still here, and for the progress that you are making, and definitely I appreciate you even advocating on behalf of those loved ones who are in the nursing home. I had the privilege of growing up in a church that was very active in making sure that we went just as a whole church community to the nursing home to check on people and also to have service and things like that, to interact with the loved ones who sometimes, like you said, have been left behind or forgotten about. And so definitely growing up with that mindset, with that heart to visit those who have been sometimes forgotten about. I still have that heart, so I definitely appreciate you even shedding light on that. um, and I want to talk a little bit about um, you're an author, right?
Yeah.
You're an author. So even in your writing journey, did you start your writing journey before you had the stroke, or was that something that you started doing?
Well, I started before. I actually started my writing journey when my son passed away in 2009. And that day, I started writing from the waiting room to the recovery room. And I could never finish that book. And I didn't know if it was something triggering me. I didn't know why I couldn't get to the end of that book. And someone had asked me to write an article for them. So I write all the time, but I hadn't published anything. So I had a lot of different things laying around. So I was just gonna pick up something, polish it off, and send it to the magazine. But while I was thinking about what I should write, God dropped in my spirit Dream Killers. So I was like, God, what are you talking about? So he was like, along the way, you allow people, places, and things to kill your dream. And the reason why you have not yet been waiting able to write from the waiting room to the recovery room is because you have not yet recovered. You're still in the waiting room because of these things and people that you have allowed to kill your dreams. So when I started writing Dream Killers, I started to identify those things that can keep you stagnated in life, like low self-esteem, low self-confidence, fear of failing, fear of success,
Mm.
procrastination, doubt, all the tools that the enemy uses to assassinate your dream. And along the way, I had let people, those who the enemy has placed strategically in your life to kill your dream, and those people who unintentionally kill your dream. Like they just state the obvious. Like if you tell someone, I want to go back to school, and they say, "Oh, at your age, aren't you too old to go back to school?"
Mm.
So they're stating the obvious, but now you start thinking in your mind, maybe I am too old to go back to school. Maybe I won't remember anything, and you allow that person to kill your dream of going back to school. So once I wrote Dream Killers, I was able to write in a month from the waiting room to the recovery room. And as I stated that I started writing in 2009, but since I've had my stroke and I've been immobile on my right side, I have written three more books that are coming out this summer. And the reason why I tell people don't give up on your dreams, don't allow obstacles and challenges to make you give up on your dreams, because with one finger, I typed off three of those books. With one finger on my telephone, I typed those books. Was it sometimes frustrating? Yes. Sometimes I got frustrated and wanted to throw my phone, and I would put it down, and then I would start again, writing these books, and I sent them to the editor, and my surviving a stroke against all odds just became live on Amazon yesterday. I just received the email that it was live. So that leads me to tell people, don't give up on your dreams. See, I had a choice in life. I could be laying here in my bed bitter and saying I can't walk, I can't do this, I can't do that, whoa is me, having a pity party. But I decided to be better, to live my best life in the condition that I am now. So I embrace the things that I can still do, and I accept those things that I cannot do, and find a way in which to keep chasing my dreams, not to throw in the towel, not to give up, not to give out. So in life, you face challenges, and this is the way I describe my life. Have you ever been to the carnival and you threw the ball real hard at the cloud, and the cloud goes all the way back, and you think you just about to claim your giant teddy bear, and that cloud bounces back up again? And they have something in that cloud that makes it bounce back. Well, when the enemy threw those hard balls at me, and I went all the way down. Just when the enemy thought he was able to claim victory, God put something in me that makes me bounce back after every obstacle, after every challenge, that I feel like the cemetery, what I learned on April 23rd, 2021, the date of my stroke, is that tomorrow is not promised. A lot of times I put off a lot of things on April 23rd because I thought I would be able to do it on April 24th. I didn't know I was going to have a massive stroke, and my life was temporarily going to be suspended. So, what I learned is that the cemetery is full of unfulfilled potentials, dead dreams, and visions. And I didn't want to die with my purpose inside of me.
Yeah, wow. You you said so much in just this little time frame. Um, definitely. I want to say one thing. You are definitely amazing and definitely inspirational not only to myself, but I'm sure my listeners are also finding, strength in what you've been saying, even in your own story, and even by your own example, of being able to sit here and have this conversation with us. And go back to one of the things you were saying, even with the book Dream Killers, because that really got me to thinking, because that is so prevalent in a lot of people's lives, and even some of the not only the people, but some of the conditions also. Because I know even myself, I have to fight procrastination. That's one of my things. I don't have the fear of success, but I know even that to a lot of people is a real thing. It's like you want to be successful, yet at the same time you're afraid of what that is, because it's a new experience. And sometimes you sabotage your own self to keep you from the very success that you say that you want. And so I'm
Yeah,
I'm very intrigued about making sure that I get that book and be able to read that, and also find out get more information, so that we can put the links to your books in the descriptions, so that my audience also can get it. But definitely, I want to say you're definitely, just by your very own uh, persistence of being here with me tonight, I definitely appreciate it. I want to talk a little bit more, because you kind of talked about your story, definitely. But one of the things that I want you just to touch on a little bit more before we get out of here is even the how to be more resilient in the midst of adversity. And clearly you have had some adversity, in your life, but like you said, you're still pushing and you're still making things happen, and not allowing the dream killers to kill your dream. But even in the midst of not having full mobility in one side of your body, you still was able to write 3 books. And first of all, let me say this. Congratulations on that, right? So I've been trying to write this one book, and I don't even know why I'm going to bring it up, because I know my listeners are going to be like, "You still ain't finished that book." I've been trying to write this one book, um, this one full hardcover book, for a while, and in the midst of me trying to get this one book finished, I've written four ebooks, right, which are just smaller books. But so I know when it comes to writing a book, it's no easy task. First of all, when you have the ability to type with 2 hands, you know what I mean? It's still no easy task. So that even goes more to how amazing I want to say you are, and how resilient you are to even to take the one finger and type it on your phone at that. So that's a whole nother monster. So we definitely want to give you, your flowers, and give you your acknowledgement and your own strength of resilience that you showed, even in the midst of writing those books. So a little bit more before we get out of here, I just want to talk a little bit about, just give some advice to someone who may also be uh, find themselves dealing with some adversity in their own lives, where it be circumstance or sickness or whatever it is. Just a little advice from your own heart that you can give someone who may be going through right now.
that first of all, you have to, like I said, accept the things that you have no control over. Things that you have no control over, you just have to accept them, and you have to find your own strength. Like in the words of Whitney Houston, I didn't know my own strength. I didn't know that I was going to be able to stand in a cemetery and watch my 18-year-old son be lowered into the ground. That was the hardest thing that I had to go through. Now, everything else that I've been through is mild compared. The stroke was nothing compared to that. The homelessness, the divorce, none of that stuff compared to the loss of my son. And God was able to bring me through that. Sometimes you have to, and this is one thing that if you find that you're not okay, that you might be like I was. I'm a minister in the church, so I know to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. But when you're first going through that process, you can't accept that. When someone tells you, oh, your son is in a better place. Now I know he's in a better place and he wouldn't want to come back here, even if he could. But when you're missing your child and you're walking past this empty room every day, the better place isn't away from you, but the better place is in his bedroom, because in your mind, you always thought that you would never have to deal with that because you were going to go first and the natural progressions of things. But if you find that you're not okay, that you like in the African American community, mental health is taboo. They tell you if you say you need to go talk to somebody, oh, therapy is a white people thing. Black people don't go to therapy. It's all in your mind. If you're just strong enough, there's demons. You come up here and let us pray for you, put some oil on you. And we know that God can work the impossible, but sometimes it's just like it's all right if you take your high blood pressure pills. It's all right if you take your diabetes medicine, but it's not all right when you're talking about you have to take some pills for schizophrenia. You have to take something for anxiety. You have to take something for panic. But just like we take care of our physical health, we have to take care of our mental health. And when I was crying out for help, nobody in the church was equipped to deal with what I was going through. And I got to the place that, like the woman with the issue of blood, I wasn't worried about legalism or traditionalism, people talking about me. I needed help, and I decided to go to EAP at my job and talk to a therapist about my feelings, because everybody was not listening to me. They were saying things like, "You're so strong," but on the inside, I was slowly dying. So my message would be, if you need help, don't let anybody's opinion of what you're doing stop you from seeking the help that you need. Just like you are saved and go to a doctor, you could be saved and go to a therapist. It's not one or the other. Either you go to therapy or you go to church. No, God has equipped the people to deal with your mental health. So that's one thing that I would say, definitely take care of your mental health and don't give up. Like, this is one more thing I'm going to say, that you know when we were children and people would dare you to do something, and I'm sure, Mr. James, when people dared you to do something, you look like you did it. They dared you. Well, on today, I'm gonna double dog dare you to finish writing that book and your audience to follow their dreams, awaken the dreamer in them. Even the dreams that you have rocked silently to sleep, today I dare you to dream again.
All right, all right, all right. So first of all, let me say, I want to say thank you. I don't, I'm gonna hold off and say thank you because that's usually how I am, but right before I end. So I don't want to end just yet. But I do want to address something, and definitely, I myself as am a big component of therapy, right? And because like yourself, I went through my own issues dealing with depression when my mom passed away, right? And so, like you said, hearing the you strong, or it's going to get better, or she's in a better place, all these cliches that's often said during that time period, usually because we're not equipped to handle the situations for real, even in the church. So as myself, even as being a minister and a executive pastor that I was for some time, I definitely understand by experience that a lot of times we're not equipped to handle the grief like we should, and because even after going through my bout of depression and things after the loss of my mom, one of the things that helped me, the major things that helped me to get through, was I started going to bereavement counseling, and so that helped me a whole lot, to the point that after I finished my time there, I stayed there another year as a volunteer to help when other people came in. And then even after that, I started my own nonprofit doing bereavement work in the community. So I definitely understand and am a very big component of therapy. And I say myself, it's not church or therapy, it's church and therapy, because you need both. Because even the Bible says first natural, then spiritual. There are some things that you just can't pray away, right? There are some natural, physical things that our body go through emotionally. Even the Bible, one of the most popular scriptures in the whole Bible is Jesus wept, right? And that within itself lets you know he was a man with emotions just like we are. And there are sometimes that we have to address our emotions. We have to address our physical ailments, whatever it is that we're dealing with, and especially our mental health. And it doesn't have to be one or the other, but it actually take both, because we are a natural man and a spiritual man. And so we have to address both of them accordingly. But I'm gonna get off my soapbox. But I want to say, Ms. Thomas, thank you so very much for being on. Thank you for taking out your time to be here. We can't end it no better than the words that you've already given us. To my listeners, thank you guys also once again for tuning in to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. Make sure that you guys are checking out our websites, the dealhealfulfill.org website, which is more about me personally, information that you can find about having me to come out as a speaker or a website workshop facilitator in order to service your community or school, whatever that is. So you can go to dealhealfulfill.org to find out more about that, because my mission is to help people to deal, heal, and fulfill, to deal with your problems, to heal from the pain, and to fulfill your purpose. So go check that out. Also check out our website at Deal to Heal Tees, which is our inspirational t-shirt line. Put some inspiration in your situation. Wear an inspirational tee and be inspired all day. That is our tagline. Again, that's Deal, the number 2, healtees.com, dealtohealtees.com. And last but not least, check out our website at ebooksbyejames.com, where you can find our ebooks that we have available. All of that information will be listed below in the description, so you guys can check that out later. Again, Ms. Thomas, I want to say thank you so very much for blessing us with your knowledge and your wisdom, even up on tonight, and being such an inspiration to us, to me, and to my listeners. I want to say thank you again to the listeners. Also, again, thank you guys for tuning in once again to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast, where our mission is to help you to deal, heal, and fulfill, to deal with your problems, to heal from the pain, and to fulfill your purpose. Until next time, you guys be blessed. Thanks for listening to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. Remember to listen, like, subscribe, and share. This episode has been brought to you by Deal to Heal Tees. Put some inspiration in your situation. Wear an inspirational tee and be inspired all day. Let's go to dealtohealtees.myshopify.com. Remember, our mission is to help you to deal, heal, and fulfill. Deal with your problem, heal from the pain, and fulfill your purpose. Thanks for listening.